Hi.
Hi. Wait
It's
a minute. You know my you know my phone and my internet. Hello, hello, hello. Sorry
hi.
about all the technical difficulties. I do apologize.
Listen, it's technology. What can we do about it? Nothing.
Look, learn it.
Learn that.
So
That too.
yeah, and I get frustrated when things are not right. So I'm gonna start over, regroup. So welcome to Leading Ladies podcast. Well, actually Leading Ladies Live. I'm leading host Renee L. Page. Today we have leading lady Andrea L. Reid. Oh my goodness. Welcome, Andrea. Andrea. Let me correct it. Andrea.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Through all the technical difficulties, I'm glad we're here at this point.
It might not have been a technical difficulty. It might have been the operator. Might have been me.
Hey, that's okay too.
Because everyone knows that I am challenged when it comes down to computers, cell phones, and everything like that. My grandson the other day had to show me how to erase something on the phone, and he's going on 8. So when your grandson can help you, that's pretty bad. So,
No,
but
no,
welcome.
they come out knowing this stuff. The babies now, they come out. Their little fingers are scrolling on the pads. I'm just amazed at how they do. So,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. So, Andrea, so now we're going to start. You are a proofreader, a published editor. You're founder and CEO of Proofreading Inc. and now a first-time author. Did I get that correct?
You did. You did get it correct. That's all correct.
Oh my goodness, you got a lot going on. How do you find the time?
Uh, ugh, that's a good question. I get asked that a lot, but it's all a juggling act. So basically, you just put a schedule together and just go down the list.
Yeah, you're right.
Pretty much.
So now I understand you're from I think part of the part of it is because you're a bison. Is that correct?
I am a Howard Bison, absolutely.
So we
Probably
had to
Asian.
juggle many hats. Remember, right?
We had
So
to.
we
We had to.
yeah, we had to call it what did we used to call it? I ain't gonna say what year it was, but I remember it was called How Hard Howard. Remember that, right?
I'm not gonna say what year either. Well, I'm gonna be honest. I don't remember that the How Hard Howard. Uh, so forgive me on that one. But Howard definitely is an experience unto itself that will allow you to figure things out quickly and make it work. That's one of the takeaways from attending that university. You figure it out and you make it work.
Yeah, because remember running up the hill, having to go to the register for this class, the register. So yeah, that's why they called it How Hard How, because they made everything hard, but you
Yep.
figured it out.
We had to figure it
So
out.
you do. So, and I think that is what set you up for being able to juggle many things, because I remember one year I had 16 classes. I don't know how I did it. So that was yeah, because I went to the nursing program. So we
Okay.
had 16 credits, maybe 16 credits.
16 credits. Yeah.
Right.
That
So
sounds right.
one course may have been 4 credits, but it was like, what, 5 classes. So I was busy. So you had to be organized. So that's one thing I can say with Howard. If there's any Howard alumni out there, you know it. So that's the good thing, and that's why you're able to be a published editor, your author, and also I heard that you did a little ghostwriting too. Is that correct?
Yeah, I've done that. I've done that for some of my clients. So,
Okay.
I guess it's wearing different hats and you just adjust according to what the needs are.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, being very organized. And I know Howard graduated a lot of people
Greatness.
that can work with. Huh?
Greatness. Howard
Yes.
graduates a lot of
Right.
greatness.
Yes, 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 yes. And I'm proud to be a part of that. So now let's kind of go back. So I know that you live in Connecticut, is that correct?
I
Right
now
now?
do. I recently relocated to Connecticut. I grew up in Connecticut, but I'm
Okay.
originally from Jamaica. I relocated. I migrated to the States uh, at the age of 7, close to turning 8. And I left Connecticut to attend Howard University and remained in the, well, I guess I'll be dating myself if I tell when that time
Yeah,
was. We're going to leave that
yeah,
alone. Uh-huh.
yeah,
So,
let's do that.
so basically I left Connecticut to attend Howard and just remained in the DMV for like 30 plus years. And
Yeah.
so
Well, okay.
so I'm now back home, but for a season. It's for a season.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. So I was born and raised in the DMV area of Baltimore, Maryland, and I didn't have the luxury and pleasure of staying on campus. So I was one of the commuters. So I had
Oh,
to drive and yeah. So yeah. So I
yeah.
remember. Yeah. Look, I remember I didn't have like money to pay for parking, and I would park at the hospital, and I knew that at 11 o'clock at night the arm would go up because they quick to boot your car in
Yep.
DC.
Yep.
So yes, so that's what I had to do. I couldn't
Well,
even.
we all were. I mean,
Yeah.
I was off campus. We had off campus housing, and so for me, I lived down on, what was it, Vermont and N Street. So you had Eaton Towers and
Okay.
Sutton Plaza. But now they
Okay.
turned those into condos, and we went back, as some of my hallmates and I, we went back to a few years back to see what those condos look like, and we were like, why do they still look like our dorm rooms?
Wow. Are you serious?
Yeah, they just put
Yeah.
chandeliers up outside, so it looked really, you know, beautiful on the outside, but it was the same dorms. I was like,
Wow. Well, I heard it was rough in those parts right now. And I ain't gonna sit there and go and see what's going on, but I just heard it was a little rougher
it was
nowadays. In that.
it was rough when we were there. You know what I'm saying? We
Yeah.
went out, but it was, even though it was rough, it was I mean, where I lived, you would go on K Street. Let's say you wanted to go to CVS to get a little midnight snack or whatever. You're
Okay.
going in and you're walking by prostitutes. They on the strip and they're just doing their jobs. But what they would do is they would encourage us and say, y'all make sure y'all get y'all education and, do the right things so y'all don't end up on the streets like us or whatever. So they encouraged us. So we saw a lot. I living in Connecticut, I had never seen a prostitute before or any of that. And I saw quite a few things living where I lived. But overall, it was a great experience. I'm not going to knock the experience or anything like that. Um, it was wonderful. I met wonderful friends. We're still friends to this very day.
Mm-hmm.
And just it was just, Howard University will always get great shout outs for me, because it made me the woman that I am today.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It make me. But now I also understand that you have a some type of scholarship program that you're doing with Howard now.
Well, it's for HBCUs overall. So
Okay.
I am a member of the Editorial Freelancers Association. And
Okay.
so basically, I co-chaired an ad hoc committee. This is the very first one that they've put together. It's trying to be a little bit more diversified in the EFA. It's not a lot of us
Okay.
in there. So they're trying to diversify. And so I collaborated with one of the other members, and we were able to connect with another Howard alum who is the director of communications for UNCF. So we were
Okay.
able to connect with her. Her name is Monique Lenore, and she was able to connect us with all the right people within her organization for us to establish the first EFA Ruth Mullen Memorial Scholarship Fund. So that scholarship program will give $5,000 to an undergrad student as well as a graduate student who wants to pursue a career in anything dealing with publishing, writing, graphic designers,
Wow.
anything in publishing, editing, all of that stuff. If you have a desire to go in that area, journalism, all of that, we have a whole list of majors and career paths. If that's something that you desire to do, then we will offer our first $5,000 scholarship to two individuals towards the end of probably about August, September-ish or somewhere around there. So
what do you need to do? So if someone wanted to get the scholarship, do they have to write something? They have to apply for it? How would one, because that's a good, you said $5,000? And they don't have to be a Howard, they don't have to go to Howard University, right?
Any HBCU.
Okay. And if they're going in that path, then they can get a scholarship of $5,000. That probably will take care of first the books.
Yep.
A new laptop.
Yep.
We ain't had it back when I was in. No, we ain't had it back when I was in there.
No. You might have gotten 500.
No, we ain't had the laptops.
Huh?
We ain't had laptops.
No, we didn't have laptops. No, we didn't have none of those. But I mean, it's a great opportunity. The closing, the deadline was actually May 26th. So
okay.
I'm actually going to be a part of the group who will review some of those applications. But in the end, the UNCF will be the one to decide who will receive the scholarships. So
and how many applicants? You said two people?
It's going to be from someone going to who's in undergrad and someone in the graduate program, in a graduate.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good deal, because it's like that takes care of a lot, especially going into September and everything going on with the pandemic. I mean, and it's not now. Is it based on what if you can? I'm excited about it, so that's why I'm lost for words. Because usually it was like $500, $250, but what is the criteria? So let me ask that first. And if they're going in that pathway.
Okay, so basically, one, you have to be attending an HBCU. So you have to be a sophomore, junior, senior, or getting ready to go into the graduate program. And again, it has to do with, you have to have a desire to do something related to writing, whether it's publishing, editing, if you're a journalism major, communications major, a business major, an entrepreneurial major. If it requires some type of writing, then you qualify for this. If you are a web developer, because you're going to be helping out with that writing as well. So web developers, graphic designers, there's a whole slew. So all that is listed on the application.
Okay.
Yeah. And so,
but no grade. But is there like you're looking at grade? Because I know when I was getting those 500, I had to have the grades.
Yeah,
it was certain criteria that I had to meet. So that's why I'm asking.
The minimum is like 2.5.
Okay.
Yeah. Or 3.0, 2.5. I'm sorry, I don't remember it verbatim at this point, but it's easy for someone to apply for it.
Okay, because sometimes people shower, and then I didn't mean to ask a redundant question, but I wanted to ask the question, and you don't have to be polite, but because I remember going for like scholarships, it was always the grades. And I know sometimes my colleague was like, they would back off because they may have gotten a D in one class and they wouldn't even go ahead and apply. So that's why I was asking as far as, it's grades.
You don't have to have a 3.5.
Okay.
That's, okay, well, if you don't have a 3.5, then that automatically disqualifies you.
Okay.
You can have a 3.0, you're good. I think 2.5 is good as well. So,
Okay. Okay.
but
Okay.
again, all of that is listed in the application
Okay.
packet.
Well,
So it details everything and what
we're
you
great.
need to do. Mm-hmm.
So just just in case someone's listening and they interested, they will go where to get the information, because that's a lot of money.
Yeah, so they can actually access the editorial freelancers website
Okay.
for one, or they can also go to UNCF under like the scholarship banner or tab.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
That's great. I mean, that's
It's
great.
phenomenal. It's
Yeah.
phenomenal. I'm like, that's a whole lot of money for someone to get.
Yes, and I'm excited about that because I know every year I get something, and I know I always give something back to Howard because, again, they made me who I am today.
Right.
So I'm an alum that gives back.
Right.
But then I'm excited about that you're doing that. I mean, that's admirable for you to do that. Um,
That was my way of
so,
paying it forward, if you will.
okay,
So, you know, at the EFA, the gentleman who reached out to me, Andy Huston, um, he did a research because he was contemplating it, but he just didn't know how to go about doing it. And so he
okay,
reached out, he did a query in the EFA database to see um, how many people attended HBCUs within the organization. And he found out of 3,000 members, only like 2 attended an HBCU, right? So
wow,
he was like, well, he decided, he looked at me and another person and decided to go with me, and everything just fell into place. It was like clockwork because
okay,
I was just thinking of a way for me to pay it forward. You know what I mean? And when this presented itself, I was like, this is perfect. So everything just rolled in together. Monique had just announced that she became the director of communications for the UNCF. So on Facebook. So I just reached out to her on Facebook. She says, okay. She put us in touch with the vice president of scholarships, and we did our meetings, and before you know it, all the players were in place, and then the scholarship is now here. So it was a very seamless effort.
I'm excited about it, and I hope those that are pursuing their educations during that pathway, they would at least try to take advantage of that, because that's a lot of money. And I mean, I'm like astounded because I'm not used. It's like you said, the $250 to $500, and you fighting, you
That's
competing against other people for that.
right.
So I mean, I'm excited about that, and I would like to know who the winner is. I mean, that is just awesome, going into school on that pathway and having a check for $5,000 to help with schooling, help
Yep.
with books. If you
Yep.
need a new computer,
Yep.
especially if you're designing graphics, because I know it's different equipment that you may need,
Yep.
and that will help fill that gap. So I'm excited about that. Congratulations.
Yeah, that
So I'm excited. Keep me abreast of that.
I
So
definitely will. I definitely will. We're thrilled about it. We are like so amazed. We call it our passion project because it's just a great idea, and it's a win-win for everybody. It's a
it
way
is.
for the EFA to become a little bit more diversified, and
Okay.
we'll see how it goes. So we're looking forward to doing more of these in the coming years as well.
Yes. And I mean, people need it. People need help.
It's
People want to
great.
go back and further their education. And I think this is a great opportunity. So congratulations. Keep me posted on that. Now, because I can talk about that all day. Now I know. So that leads me to the next topic. So I know that you are a self-published author. You've written a book, A Treasure of God. Am I saying it correctly?
No.
I'm,
No, I'm
don't,
being silly. I'm being silly. It's called Treasured by God.
Treasured by God. I got a chance to kind of flip through it, and I mean, it's like, I'm not going to take over, but it's just an awesome book. The book can be bought on Amazon. I believe it's like $25, reasonable. it's just the cover. When I looked at the cover, that stole, like, if I was walking in Barnes and Noble, I probably would have grabbed that book anyway, because I wanted to know about what it's about.
Right.
So the graphics on it is just phenomenal. The book is just awesome. So can you talk about the book and just go into that?
Sure. So you are absolutely correct. I released my first book in, well, February, March. I really started announcing it to the world for sale like the first week in March. I think it was like March 2nd or something like that. But
Of this year?
of this year. Yep.
Okay.
So basically the beautiful cover is was done by a great graphic artist designer. She's just a creative genius.
Yes.
I'm going to toot her horn because she's just a talent when it comes down to art and just being as creative as she is. And so that is Danielle Kess. She's
Yes, Donnie. I can call
for,
it Donnie.
yeah, you call her
Donnie.
Donnie. I call her Danielle.
Okay.
And she, she's so good at what she does, in that you can give her your vision and let her run with it, and she comes out with something just spectacular. So initially the book cover looked nothing like that. First it looked like a cartoon with some fish under the sea, and then we just changed the whole thing up, and this magnificent cover came into existence, and I was just blown away by it.
You have it? You have a book so you can show it? You have your book right there?
I'm gonna slap myself right now because I don't even. What is wrong with me? But you know what? I'm gonna get up and get it right now. 1 second. I'll be right back.
So who is this? Crayon Life said $19.99 on Amazon. So you said it's $19.99 on Amazon. Whoever this is, Crown Life. Oh, I thought I got my book for $24. So okay, $19.99 on Amazon, Crown Life. The Crown Life.
Okay, I'm back. So, and so I usually almost never do anything without my book. I always have a copy of it to display. And so here it is. It is on
That is absolutely beautiful.
For $19.99. And
Danielle, I said the wrong thing.
I'm sorry?
I made a mistake. It said $24.99. I saw something for $24.99, but I think I bought the E. But whoever this is probably said $19.99.
No, it's $19.99, but when it's shipped out, it's about $25. So you're
okay.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so because I knew what I did. So $19.99. Thank you, Crown Life.
Yeah, but so she came up with this beautiful image, and I have to say this though, because it was amazing. Just I think one night she and I we were just up into the wee hours of the morning just working on it. And when we neared the completion of it, I kid you not, she started to like freak out because she wasn't even touching the book, and all of a sudden it just seemed like it was like electrocution was taking place on the cover. It was like, and she didn't touch it. And I was like, oh my God, what's going on right now? And seriously, the way that I looked at that was the Holy Spirit finalizing that book cover, because that thing was fire. It was like, that's what we saw on the page. It was just like he was giving his stamp of approval, like, this is it. Now you can sell it. And so wow, this is what we have now. So everything about this book is God inspired. Okay. It's God inspired because he told me what to put in the book. He told me everything that I should put in a book from beginning to end. And so this writing process took it took some time, because what he was allowing me to do is, as the months went by, he would just drop different things and tell me, write this, put this in the book, put that in the book. And so I was always taking notes and typing and writing things down. Whenever he gave it to me, it could have been at work, it could have been at 1 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I was writing whatever he said to write down. So when it came time for me to actually write, everything just flowed seamlessly. It was just an easy thing, because of course I'm telling stories of different things that took place
Okay.
in my life. So he was like, well, talk about this that happened to you when you were X years old, or talk about this relationship, or talk about what miracle I performed on said date. So he basically showed me everything that should be in this book. Initially, the reason why I wrote the book, it was more so out of frustration, for one,
Okay.
because, you know, um, I wrote it for young people. Well, I thought it was for young people, but I'm finding out that older people are like, no, we want this book too. But initially,
Okay.
it was for young people, like teenagers who might have gone through the same experiences that I went through. So for me, I started having dreams that came to fruition at the
Wow.
age of 16. About 16, 17, I had the first dream that actually came to fruition, and it blew my mind. And so as time went by, I continued having dreams, and I would share it with people, and they'd be like, oh my gosh, did that really happen? And I didn't know what it meant. No one told me anything about dreaming and the significance of dreaming. And so it wasn't until I attended a church that taught classes on dreaming that I had a better understanding of what was happening. And so God speaks to us in different ways. And so the ways that he spoke to me from a teenager until present day um, were, one, in a dream, and sometimes in a vision. He still speaks in other ways to me as well. But this book was speaking to the fact that he speaks to you. He can speak to you in a dream and a vision. But I wanted the young folks to know that it's okay that you have these dreams if you don't understand what it means to have these dreams, that there are others out in the world just like you who are having dreams, and that it's simply God's way of speaking to you. And
Yeah.
I wrote it because, I have a dear friend. I love her dearly, but every time I shared a dream with her, she would attribute it to, oh girl, you ate something late at night. Oh girl, you need to go to sleep. And it used
Go
to
to
piss
bed.
me off. It takes me off every time she did it. And so I stopped sharing with her. I was like, she doesn't understand. And it when people um knock your gift and dismiss it, it makes you feel awkward, it makes you feel lonely, it makes you
Yeah.
feel like something is wrong with you because you're having these dreams. So for me, writing the book, I wanted to encourage young people that if they are having the same experiences that I did, that they were okay, that nothing is wrong with you, and please don't let anybody make you feel awkward because you have this special gift, because that's what it is. It is a gift from God, where because you have a relationship with God, then he then begins to show you things in dreams and visions because he can trust you. So that was the whole point of the book. And so I shared different dreams. Like I have a chapter that talks strictly about the different dreams, just some of the dreams that I had that actually came to fruition. I share other events where God um, performed miracles for,
Can
like,
you share? Can you share something, for example? Make people want to go get the book.
sure. So for me, I'll go back to um like as a little girl. Like I started
Okay.
talking to God at 4 years old. I didn't know what I was doing. I just heard, my family, my mama talking about God around the house. So I was like, well, I'm gonna start talking to God too. So my dad wasn't around all the time. He was a Rolling
Okay.
Stone. Love him, but because he's my dad, but um he wasn't
I had one of those
around.
too.
Yeah, so in my little mind, I told God that he had to be my father and that he had to take care of me because my daddy wasn't doing it. Okay? So for me, I
Okay.
was hearing a lot of complaining. My mom was fussing and, saying whatever she was saying about him at the time. So, and I could see for myself, I could see for myself, you're a child, your dad says he's going to come, but he doesn't show up.
Yeah.
So at 4 years old, I was like, well, I'm just gonna start talking to God. He's gonna have to be my daddy. And so what I didn't realize was in that moment, I was starting a relationship, a father-daughter relationship that carries on into today. Because while I asked him as a 4-year-old to take care of me, that's all he's done my entire life. Okay. So I
Wow.
I share that story as a little girl talking to God, and just like the first dream that I had that came to fruition was about 16, 17. My Sunday school teacher, um her mom lived on oxygen. So back then she was walking around with a big oxygen tank and the tube in the nose and everything like that.
Right, right,
So
right.
what I saw in the dream was that she was up front in our church and everybody was rejoicing with her because she wasn't um using her oxygen tank. So family was
Wow.
around her, everybody was rejoicing and praising God because she was surviving off of her oxygen tank.
Wow. Okay.
And the next scene in the dream was her in her casket.
Wow.
It was her laying in her casket. And so that actually happened where she basically was rejoicing. She, her family, and other church members were rejoicing that she was surviving off of her oxygen tank. And that particular Sunday, probably like a couple of weeks later, our pastor announced that she had passed away. And
Wow.
that blew my mind. That blew my mind. So
So you said you saw this in a dream.
I saw it in a dream. I saw it in a dream.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God, like I saw this. But I didn't know what any of that meant. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And so that was like the first dream. And I don't recall having another one until I was in college. And I had a dream that my boyfriend had another chick in his dorm. And I was like, I literally I literally rolled out of the bed from the dream.
That was intuition.
See, you see that right there. That's what they say, your intuition. I dreamt that he had another woman in his apartment. And I literally rolled out of the bed, put my clothes on, and I walked from my dorm to his apartment, which was a few miles away. I didn't care. I was like, I'm gonna find out for myself. And sure enough, he had he had someone in there. When I came and knocking on the door, he would not open up, and it was just a hot mess that day. But
Did you get to see the woman in the bed? Or you just, how did
no,
you
he
know?
wouldn't. He wouldn't let me in. He wouldn't let me in. He wouldn't let me in.
Maybe
But
he was asleep. Maybe he was
no,
asleep.
no, because guess what? He called me later to bomb me out because he was like, I can't believe you came knocking and making all that huffing and fuss. If everything was okay and all was well, you would have let me in as your girlfriend, right?
I would have kicked the door in. That's what I would have done.
Listen, I was banging on the door. I was doing everything. The neighbor came out. It was horrible. But, after a while, I put my tail between my legs and walked home. But I was given the opportunity to catch him and the female.
Wow.
Yeah, another time. That's in the book too. And yeah, God
I want
rest.
to get to that part.
Yeah,
That
God
right
rest
there.
his. Yeah, it occurred on Georgia Avenue. Bible.
Yeah, they were some freshmen on them guys on Georgia Avenue.
Yeah, he.
You should
I
have known
found.
better. You should have
Right.
known
No,
better.
no, no. He was off campus. He was living in his own apartment. So he
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
even on campus. But what happened was I wasn't supposed to be, I was over by the Howard Towers on off of Georgia Avenue. And so I wasn't supposed to be there because I live in Eaton Towers, which is downtown DC. So I wasn't
Oh,
supposed to
okay.
be in that area at all. And it just so happens I showed up and here he was walking down the street with this chica. And I was like, isn't this something? What's going on here? All that's in the book. He's deceased
You're not
now.
still with him, are you?
No,
You're
no,
not
no.
with him, are you?
No, no, no. There was no way. The problem is, Howard University had some gore, and they probably still they still do. Howard had some gorgeous people, period. You know what I'm
Oh, I thought
saying?
you were saying some gorgeous men.
Gorgeous
Like,
men, but men, women alike. Listen, when I first stepped on Howard University's campus, I was like, I told one of my hallmates, I said, "Are we in heaven?" I asked her that. I said, seriously?" I said, "Why is everybody on this campus gorgeous? Everybody was just beautiful, you know." So Howard had some fine brothers, and he was one of them. So he was young. We were young, and he was sowing his oats or whatever. But of course, back then my feelings were hurt. But in the end, I forgave him because he came and apologized to me. He found me years later. He was such a resourceful person. He found me and then he apologized. And so I
that was
forgave him.
nice of him.
Yeah.
That was nice of him.
I
He
needed
knew
that
what he was
apology.
missing.
Huh?
He knew what he lost.
Yeah. And I was like, he asked, he wanted us to try again. I was like, absolutely not. Will not go through that. I don't care how fine you are. And he was gorgeous. He really was. But
Wow.
But we move on. He's now
Yeah, he did.
he's now deceased. May he rest in peace.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, he died of a heart attack, I heard.
Wow.
But, yeah. But overall,
Wasn't Kevin whatchamacallit, was it?
who?
Was it Kevin Sample? The one that it wasn't him, was it? He was gorgeous. Kevin Sample, whatever his name is.
No, I don't know who
The
that
image
person is.
consultant?
No, it wasn't him.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't him.
I think I said his name right. Right? Kevin Sample?
I don't know.
Something.
Oh, you talking about Samuel? Kevin
Samuels.
Oh, he
And I
went
was
to
like,
Howard?
was it him? Huh?
Absolutely not. And
Okay.
if he were at Howard when I was there, he wasn't the one that I would want to date. I'm sorry, he was not my type.
Could you imagine him reading the rights about you? My daughter was like, "You need him to evaluate you." No, I don't.
No,
I'm fine.
My thought process was, who is this guy to be telling me anything? His life is probably not as put together as he's projecting. And so we found out in the end that it really was. God, may he rest in peace. I'm not here to talk about the man.
Yeah, but it's in your book, and we can see it in your book. But going forward, so you said you had the dreams, but what was now? I know you said it was finished this year, but was it held up because of COVID?
No.
It wasn't.
I wrote it in COVID. I wrote it during COVID. I finished it up in COVID. So again, this book is about having relationship with God. Because when you have a relationship with God, he will download, he will make you aware of things. He will give you a warning. He will give you a heads up. He will make you aware of things to come. And so that's the relationship that I developed with him. And I'm thankful that he lets me know what's about to happen. You know what I'm saying? There
Yeah.
were times when he would let me know, you're getting ready to have an interview, and the interviewer is going to have on a particular scarf. And then when I show up to the interview, there's the scarf. So
Wow.
he just would show me things all the time, um, in dreams. But the other part of the book has to do with my best friend who passed away in
Okay.
2017. Um, I always told him that he needed to tell his story, and I would edit it for him. Basically, my best friend he became extremely sick. He had kidney failure, congestive heart failure, hypertension, and probably something I'm forgetting. In any event, those were the main things that he was struggling with. And
Wow.
he had to do dialysis 3 times a week. And his arms seemed deformed because they had to use a certain vein to flush his blood out. So over
Yeah.
time,
Fistula. The fistula.
over time his arm became swollen and looked a little deformed, and then he became really thin. Just, so imagine you're being a vibrant person, living life, and then all of a sudden you become sick. And when you are diagnosed, you are told that you have renal failure, right? So that was the situation with my best friend. And so basically, God allowed him, from what I understand from a friend of ours who was a paramedic, when you are a renal patient,
Mm-hmm.
you're not living that long, maybe 7 years tops or something like that. So with him not having any kidneys, you know,
Wow.
and heart failure, what you're going to think is that he doesn't have long to live. But God sustained him for almost 20 years.
Wow.
So he was on, and then when you looked at him, you couldn't tell that he was sick. Like, he had a glow in his face that
Okay.
you couldn't tell that he had any of the ailments that he had. And so,
Okay.
I would take him on his doctor's appointments at times. And, like one time he broke his ankle and wouldn't go to get it checked out. And when we finally got there, the doctor took x-rays of the before and after. We went for a second follow-up, and which was like 9 days after the original.
Okay.
And the doctor kept looking back and forth, just kept looking, the original to the new, the original to the new, just back and forth. And we're both sitting back like, what is he looking at? And the
Right.
man said, because George was like, I don't want to be in a boot for 6 weeks or however long they have to stay in a boot. And I
Right.
said, well, George, let's just pray about it, that, you won't have to stay, and that God will just heal you sooner rather than later. So the doctor was just looking back and forth, and his response was, you are a lucky guy because your bones have healed. So when I looked at the x-ray, I didn't see anything broken. I saw a regular ankle with no broken bones anywhere. So in
Right.
9 days, his whole foot, his ankle was healed. And the doctor was blown away. He was just like, I've never seen anything like this. So I share
Wow.
his story because there's a lot of miracles in his story.
Right.
But for anyone who reads the book, when they get to that particular chapter, they're probably going to get all the way messed up. You're going to need plenty of tissue. Everyone
Okay.
who's read it, they've told me, even a guy told me that he was boohooing in that chapter.
Oh.
So it's what I've been told about that chapter is that it's very captivating,
Okay.
and that they couldn't stop reading it, and they couldn't stop crying. So
Okay.
it's good. And then
Okay.
in dealing with the pandemic and everything like that, the racial injustices with our Black and colored or brown people being killed by police officers, and being locked down for during the pandemic. For me, I just talked about some of the things that I was feeling, um, anxiety, and having a panic attack, and
Mm-hmm.
waking up on certain days just crying and don't even know why I'm crying. And so I detail some of that just to say to us, that we need to monitor our mental health, um,
Yes.
and that
Yes.
we need to know that it's okay to talk it out, um,
Yes.
with whomever, whether it's a therapist, whether it's a best friend, whoever.
Friend.
Because if you don't talk about what you're feeling,
Yeah.
then um, it may cause some folks to feel isolated and to do harm to themselves. It helped me. Not that I'm one to harm myself, but you can't ignore what you're feeling. You can't ignore the fact that you're feeling depressed and don't really know why you're feeling depressed.
Yeah, you have to talk about it.
You have
So,
to
because
talk about
I know when I worked in the hospital during the pandemic, I know because we were in the hospital, and I remember working in the ICU, and we was always garbed down everything, and we would just sit,
it. Yep.
and then they would say, go and take a break, go and step out and get some water. Um, it was just stressful going through that period. And I know sometimes, like in ICU, you usually have one or two patients, but I remember times that it was so much that we were so short staffed that in the ICU we had like four patients. And one day they tried to push us to five, and we was like, no, and they were sick patients. So that was a mental anguish on all of us. And
Right.
we had to talk about it. Now, from where I come from, I was, and I'm upfront and honest about this. I think people should seek therapy, and it's nothing wrong with it. But the way that I was raised, it was like you don't talk about your problem.
Right.
And I think now, I think I suffer from that because I keep things bottled in, and I was always taught you don't discuss your business, you don't talk about your business.
Right.
So I think the pandemic allowed people, and it said it's okay to feel depressed, it's okay to cry.
Yep.
But it's just a lot of things that people went through with the pandemic. I wish that it was more programs available for mental health.
Right.
And it didn't matter if you were poor, if you were rich, because look at what just happened. You had someone like the great singer, what was it? Ashley Judd's mother.
Yeah.
What is it? Her mother
Judge.
committed
Yep.
suicide.
Yep.
Just the suicide that, so it's not a poor, it's
Mm-mm.
not a rich, it's not this, it's just people
Who need help?
just went through things.
Yeah.
People need help.
Yep.
So I'm big on mental health. I'm big on talking about it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
big on journaling. Um, I'm big
Absolutely.
on all that.
It's
And I think that's
important.
important.
It's important. And so for me to help during that time, I was fortunate to have girlfriends, some of my college friends. We would just talk. And it was like, oh, I was feeling the same way too. And so then there's like a sigh of relief, like, oh, it's not just me. Others are feeling the same way. I, like
Right.
grew up in the same way, in that, it's kind of taboo to
Taboo.
to go and see a shrink. Black folks don't do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what
We
white people
don't.
do. Black folks don't do that, right?
Yeah.
And so it's such a lie. It's such a lie, because I I don't have a problem with getting on a couch and letting it all out if I have to. I
Yeah.
encourage any and everybody, if you need it, and I stress that in the book. If you need the help, if you need to talk it out, write it out, do whatever you need to do to get over that feeling of depression or anxiety, whatever it is that you're feeling, do what you need to do. I posted in the book like different organizations for folks to call in the
Okay.
event that they feel suicidal, in the event that they need some type of counseling. Um, there is nothing wrong with it. I'm 100% for seeking the help that you need.
Yes. Talking to someone. So I mean, I've never been to a therapist or anything like that, but I know with me personally, like situations and things like that, and it's like maybe I need to talk to someone.
Yes.
Because maybe journaling is just isn't helping, or maybe calling someone and talking about it, but maybe I need to talk to someone that's that's a clinical therapist,
Yes.
just to get my feelings out. Because think about it, even though people look strong, but with the pandemic, a lot of people suffer from post-traumatic stress syndrome.
Yeah.
And I can say that I do, because I mean, everyone did suffer from post-traumatic syndrome, because to be told that you have to stay in the house, to be told that you have to get a vaccine,
Yes.
even though, so that was a lot for people to deal with, like, especially with certain jobs. It's like, in order for you to keep your job, you have to have the 2 vaccines and you have to get boosted. And I
Right.
remember there was people that didn't even want to get the flu shot, but in order for them to keep their way of life,
They
they
had
have to get this vaccine that they didn't trust. So that was a
right.
lot. That was a
That's a
lot.
lot. I listen, listen, it took me a while to get that shot.
Okay.
It took, I wasn't one of the first ones running around talking about give me a shot, give me, because then you have the case where as Black people we were what was it, the syphilis, where you were being in Black people were being injected with all kinds of
Mm-hmm.
so I was like, for one, I wasn't running to get it. I don't like shots, point blank, period. And so I'm not even going to be like, oh, let me be the first to run out here and get this shot. And then it was an unknown. It was an unknown, and so it's like I'm not going to be the first one to get it.
It was a
And
scary thing. It was. It was very scary.
let me also
But
say this: because of my faith, I wasn't going to do it unless I heard God tell me to do it. And so again, for me, I prayed about it, and I heard God showed me in a dream that I was in line getting the shot, and so I was like, "Daggone, I guess I'm gonna have to go get the shot."
okay, and it was okay, right? When you got the shot.
It was okay. All was well. Nothing crazy happened except for that one day that I felt like really ill. But that was common for a lot of people.
Yeah, it
But
was common.
it was common, and so I got over it. But even the day,
Tuskegee.
even the day when I walked into the Wegmans pharmacy, or before I even got in, I sat in my car and I was talking to my friend Lynn, who lives in Atlanta, because she was like, I don't know if I want to take that thing. And I was just like, well, God showed me in a dream that I was in line taking it, so I'm gonna go in here and take this. And he showed it to me twice, so I guess I'm supposed to take it. So, but I sat in my car and I was like, I just couldn't get out. I couldn't get out to go and do it. And I started to go away, and God was like, I told you to trust me. Somebody needs to mute their phones. You hear the
Huh?
static? Someone needs to mute their phone.
Yeah, someone meets the phone.
But
Okay.
what happened was, I walked into the Wegmans pharmacy. This was me living in. I went to Hunt Valley. I used to live in Hunt Valley, Maryland, and so I went.
Oh.
You're so funny. I walked into the Wegmans, and I basically was like, "Oh, I should run out the store right now." I was I was contemplating running out and not getting a shot. And so that's when God was like, trust me. I was like, okay, 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 I'll do it. But I literally was getting teary-eyed because I really didn't want to do it, but I did it anyway. And so that was that. I went in and I got it done, and everything was okay. But for me, I'm always going to ask God, should I do it? You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Should I?
And it was fun. You made the point, and I see. Thanks, Crown. Like they said, it was the Tuskegee. Was it the Tuskegee?
It was.
Um, and it was them. So a lot of people, and thanks for adding that in, because I forgot the name. Old age, getting older. But anyway, but a lot of people, and that was what a lot of people thought. And they was like, oh, it's not trying to be the conspiracy theory, but that's what they thought about, as far
Right.
as with the government putting stuff in it. And then my thought was, well, everybody's get, everyone has to get the vaccine.
Right.
So I think, when I went to get mine, it was when I went to get my vaccine, it was everyone in there from the hospital. And I said, well, if I get sick, this hospital is going to take care of me.
Right.
So they were giving it to me, and I made that known. So, and it was like, well, no, you have to get it. You have to get it. And then we had to get the booster. If not, then you can find other employment.
Oh.
So that's what that was about.
Right.
So that was a stressor in itself.
Yeah.
Because some people don't believe in getting shots or putting things in their body.
Exactly.
So yes.
So now you have to go out and find you have to now, your whole way of living now has to change, because you're told that you must take this shot. So now you have to go out and find another profession. You don't know if you're going to get the same rate of pay. You see what I'm saying? That's a lot of stress. That's a lot of stress.
Yeah, it is. It is. And then the thing is like, just imagine losing, like, a lot of people lost family members during that period.
Yeah.
So I know now in your book, because I didn't get to the end, do you talk about that as far as with loss of family members of COVID and things, as far as at the end of your chapter, if I can ask?
No, because I didn't have a lot of family members to die from COVID.
Okay.
Like, I had a great aunt who passed away about that time, but I'm not sure that the reason she passed was because of COVID.
COVID. Okay.
Or if that was it. So I didn't have anybody, a lot of folks who were family members to pass away from COVID.
Okay.
So I don't really talk about it, but I just basically stressed the importance of just don't feel bad. We all feel sad. We're all human, and we all at times will feel sadness. We'll all feel depressed at some point, and just get the help that you need. There's nothing wrong with it. Don't feel any shame about it.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself. Your physical,
Definitely.
your mental. Just take care of you by any means necessary. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have to take care of yourself. So I look forward to reading the rest of the book, because I'm an avid book reader.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you said in the book you have resources that readers can get if they needed help. So you provided resources.
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Well, great. So, oh my goodness, I could sit here and talk to you all day, but I know that you're busy. You probably get ready to write your next book. Is that?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if the viewers wanted to, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you asked the question. I'm sorry.
So if the viewers wanted to reach out, find more about you, maybe get you to proofread, because now I forgot to mention this. I know that you were a proofreader editor for PayPal. Is that correct?
Yeah, I did a lot of proofreading for PayPal, with a lot of their email marketing. So a lot of just making sure that the verbiage was correct, whether it was different disclosure statements, typos, what have you. You're making sure that you're putting out the best product for your customers, because no one wants to see a lot of typos in their documents. So yes, I did it for PayPal, but then I also did it with another company that I worked for as well. It was a health insurance company, where that was my job, was to review all of our marketing materials, making all kinds of corrections and sending it back to our ad agency for them to update accordingly. So from me, they received a lot of marked up, and it was always in Adobe. So you received.
I know about that. I know
Yeah.
about that. Being in high school, I went to all girls school, liberal arts school. It was called Washington High School.
Hmm.
And I remember when I used to get my papers back, I was like, why is it so red? It was a whole bunch of red. I couldn't stand it. A whole bunch of red.
That's
Back
what I
then, we
do.
didn't have computers. I
Yeah.
couldn't stand it. So that made me a better writer because I got sick of seeing the red marks.
Yep.
Got
Well,
sick
that's
of it.
good though. That's good. I
What, to
will
have a
say
whole bunch
this.
of red marks? That ain't good. That means I couldn't write.
Well, no, but it caused you to improve, right? It caused you to get better.
Yeah, because I got sick of seeing it. Because I know some of my classmates that I went to school with, like my girl Desiree Wheeler, she never had that on her paper. Her papers was always good. And then I know a couple of other people. I'm like, I'm the only one that got red marks on mine. So
But
yeah, it was me.
are they writing today?
So I know now. I know Desiree, we call her Dale. I know that she has a high power position with the government, and I know that she has to review documents for the government.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Okay.
so she still has that.
Good. And so here's the thing, because I think that some people are gifted with that and they just don't know. Like I was one of those people who was always good in English and writing and things like that. But I
Oh,
never looked, but I was like a nerd too. Like I always had to get the good grades, and I listened closely when my English teacher taught classes and everything like that. So someone needs to mute their phone. But
meet your phone or call me.
but I was a nerd, and so I paid attention to my English teachers all the time, and going to Howard University as well. One of the criteria for us was, you know, before we graduate, we were going to know how to write, because one of our, in fact, it was my retail teacher, Miss Harris. Um, she said one of the problems um, that a lot of the companies. Hi.
Oh my goodness, I don't know what is going on with this technology
No,
today.
let me tell you what happened. So I had another meeting at 8:15 on Messenger. So they were calling my phone, and as a result, it bumped everything out. So I was like, geez, y'all just interrupted my whole interview.
But we got a lot of good stuff in, so I want to thank you for your time. And I know that it's getting late. I'm in California. I know you're in East Coast, Connecticut. So I just want to thank you for your time and encourage everyone that's the viewers that's looking to get your book, A Treasure by God, right?
Right?
I mess up names in books, so I do apologize. But I think tonight, because I don't have to work tonight, I will finish reading because I have it on the
Kindle,
electronic, so I have that. Yep.
the
So I
ebook.
will.
Okay, okay.
So I will read mine tonight, and then later we can talk about it because I'm just interested in just going through it. It sounds like a page thumber, and I'm an avid book reader.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm gonna tell you like this. Everyone who's read it, they've they were like it was a page turner for them. And so basically they did it in like 3 hours. One person said they started
Okay.
at 8:15 and finished at 11:15. So, and
Okay.
they don't read. They don't read.
Okay.
So for her to finish it in 3 hours, that means it was pretty good to
That
her.
was a good book. It was a page turner.
Yeah.
So I will be reading that tonight with my little green robe that my children used to laugh at me about, but I'll be cuddled up reading that tonight. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining me. I'm the
Oh
leading
no, thank
ladies.
you for having me. And if anyone wants, to get an autographed copy of the book, they can email me at info@proofreading Inc. I have my Proofreading Inc. shirt on today. I don't know if anybody can see it.
I want a shirt.
Proofreading Inc. I'm trying to promote my business, Proofreading Inc. But they can shoot me an email at info@proofreadinginc.com, or they can even contact me at 301-834-2728. And I'll be happy. Look at my friend just now joining, Linda Lou. That's my friend from college. Um,
Hi. And
but
I just encourage everyone to support small businesses because that's how we survive. You know,
yeah.
there's authors, and I know that Andrea, you consult, you help other people write their books. So if
Hmm.
there's someone out there that's trying to write their book, reach out to Andrea to get help with your book. Put
Yes.
your stories out there. So because she's a great resource, and I just said that she was a proofreader editor for PayPal, so you know she knows her stuff. So, I mean, that's just awesome. So, and then she also ghostwrites. So you can have her write some stuff for you and just slap your name on it.
Right. I'll help you. That's why I'm here. So it's a
Yes.
talent.
So,
I
and
thank God for it.
what's your Instagram handle that people need to reach out again?
It's Proofreading Inc. AR.
Okay.
So, and
Yeah.
again, it's not regular proofreading. I'm sorry. Let me correct that. It's not. You don't spell it the regular way that you would spell proofreading. Proofreading has my last name in it, so it's proof and my last name REIDING Inc. Wait, Inc. Jesus, I'm messing it up. So proof, my last name INGINCAR. That's the handle.
Okay, let me see your shirt. Because it's
Let
on
me
your
stand
shirt,
up.
right?
It's on my
I'm not
shirt.
being fresh. I'm not being
So
fresh.
proof
Okay, I like that.
reading Inc.
Okay,
INC.
I like it.
Yeah, that's my baby right here. So you can check out my website
What's the
and
website?
www.proofreadinginc.com.
Okay.
Oh, thanks for putting it in the chat too. There it is, Proofreading Inc. That's my Instagram handle down
I
below.
didn't do that. Look, I'm
Thanks.
still stuck on trying to spell the proofread. That's why I asked to see your shirt. Hope you didn't think
Right.
I was flirting with. Hope you don't
No.
think I was flirting with you. I can hear now. Oh, Renee asked the guest to see her check. No, I wanted to see the shirt.
Okay, my mind didn't go there at all, but it's funny. No, thanks, Crowned Life, for putting it in the chat. We appreciate that.
And actually, Crown Life said that it was a good read.
Well,
Yeah, they said it on the other video. Huh?
it is a good read. If
It
I
is
do
a
say
good
so
read.
myself, it's a good read. And so you're gonna have moments where you might chuckle and other moments where you're definitely gonna cry. And but it's I love it and other people love it as well. So you won't be bored.
No, especially when you start talking about the dreams and things came to fruition, things like that. That's what I'm trying. Look, I'm not trying to sound like I'm rushing you off, but I'm ready to go and cuddle in my bed with my green vest, my green robe that my kids, Corey and Brad, used to tease me about, my popcorn, and maybe a bottle of wine, and read my book.
That
So,
sounds like a plan. That sounds like a plan. So
yeah.
enjoy the read. It's a good read. And I just want to thank you for having me on tonight. I really, really do appreciate it. And I look forward to more of these in the future.
Oh, yes, definitely. And before you leave, just in case some people came back on when we had technical difficulties. Somebody probably like, yeah, no, Renee just don't know how to. No, we had technical
That was a technical
difficulties.
difficulty. Yeah.
But can you mention about the scholarship again? So because I want people to take advantage of the $5,000 scholarship. Please mention that again.
Okay, so the deadline has already transpired, but you can listen out for next year. So
Okay.
if you have a student or know of anyone who is attending an HBCU who is interested in anything dealing with publishing, writing, journalism, communications, anything that's dealing with words, editing, if you're like a web designer, web developer, entrepreneur, basically you can qualify for this particular scholarship. It's for $5,000. Will be given to an undergrad student, and also one will be given to a graduate student.
Graduate.
And so if as long as you're going to an HBCU and you are definitely interested in pursuing a career in something dealing with writing, then you can definitely apply to this scholarship.
I urge everyone, whoever's in school, if they have a student that's going to HBCU, apply. And she
Please
said that there
apply.
wasn't a grade restriction. You don't have to be a 4.0 or
No,
that. So apply. It's
yeah,
money out there. Don't leave money on the table. Don't let that be the reason why you don't pursue. So there's resources out here. And again, Andrea is a good resource. Reach out to her. Pick her brain. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in. And you can see more episodes like this on Leading Ladies every Wednesday, where we're going to be having thought-worthy, thought-provoking conversations and just, real and getting resources and growing as a community. So I'm excited about that.
I am too. I am too. Thank you again. I really appreciate you for having me to be on your platform tonight.
Thank you. Pleasure's all mine. Good night, everyone. See
Good
you next week.
night. Have a good evening.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.